So, Jide, do you think the government is doing enough in terms of putting their mouth where, or putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to the issue of technology, being smart cities, being smart states, preparing the citizens for the new way of work?
I think recently the government is rising to the challenge, and I think it's a laudable. It's commendable. We see the VP, running around, moving around the states, commissioning various tech ops, in different states, MSMEs ops, in various states, and I think it's laudable. What I also think that government should do emphatically is to, formulate policies that will enable the tech entrepreneurs to really thrive, in the various endeavors, in the various things that they're doing. And I think government in that line is not doing enough. Take for instance, it's not going to be a bad thing if you give us like 10 years and tax holiday. I'm just starting my business, barely 3 years. You're asking me to become a paying tax. Where do I get the money to pay tax from? So I think they are doing their best, but they can do more.
Okay, so when it comes to adopting technology, do you find that what we do in Nigeria is copy and paste? So this technology worked in the East or the West and we just use it? Or do we actually develop local solutions? Like you said, technology should solve problems. So are we using borrowed technology, or are we developing enough of our local technology?
Well, I mean, I think there are two schools of thought, but I think that I lean towards the school of thought that says imitation is the first stage of development. I think that there is no shame when we copy and paste. I think what the learning there is how quickly we're able to then take learnings from the copy and paste that doesn't work and quickly adapt to our local problems to originate local solutions. But I don't think that there's any problem copying and pasting those challenges. I mean, China says China's revolution is actually because of the copy and paste model, right? Years ago, you would associate China with fake and you would associate them with copies or imitation. Right now, they're beginning to thrive in the area of original innovation. So I think it's the first stage, and I think there's no shame. I think it's something we'll naturally rise above and evolve from.
For me, one of the problems that I found with copying and paste is the fact that our problems are very peculiar. So what is obtainable in the UK or in the US might not actually work when it comes to the continent of Africa. So I think we need to begin to look at our problem inside and see how we can use the modern day technology to solve some of these problems, rather than going out there to see what people are doing over there and trying to bring them to the country or to the continent.
Okay, so your experience as a techpreneur, do you feel that Nigerians are ready for these technologies? Are they ready to, do you feel like in speaking with people that there are young students out there that are looking to also get into tech, is it now fashionable the way it was to get into, say, politics? Is tech becoming that?
Okay. I think that there's a question of fashionable, right? I mean, anything that brings money is always fashionable, right? So football was fashionable one time, then it became acting, then became reality TV show. Something that is trending and is on the news would always be fashionable and very attractive. But to speak to the question around, are people ready for technology? I think so. I think it's abundant around us. If you look at our internet penetration rates, if you look at our smartphone penetration rates, you would show that there is a clear hunger for technology. What is different, however, is first the infrastructure that allows you to build technological solutions around them. Copy and paste wouldn't work. So you wouldn't, for instance, take an app and download from what you would do in the West wouldn't work in Nigeria. So that's why you will see one of the biggest success stories on the continent is M-Pesa, which is basically USSD banking. Yeah. But it wouldn't work anywhere else because those are peculiar problems. But that takes advantage of technology. So it's to take advantage of technology, tweak what the solutions have been, what they have been used to solve in the West or in the East, tweak them to local relevance and find. So I think that people are it's not something that people will have to welcome. It's already dawned on them. We are everywhere you turn around to, there's technology in abundance.
Yeah, for me, looking at the other side of the divide, some of us will sit back in Lagos or Port Harcourt and Abuja and believe that that is the way every part of the country is. But in reality, that is not. You discover that in some suburbs, in some other states, let's say for instance my state, Ondo State, you discover that there are a lot of places where you don't even you can't find it, you can't see the impact of technology in those areas. So I think yes, we're trying, most especially in the cities. But I think when you go to those suburbs, so those villages, those communities, the impact of technology is not being felt at the moment. I think it's high time they embrace technology in those areas as well. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the tech scene, what would you like to see in the next 5 years, 10 years happen in Nigeria?
I think that the biggest thing that is missing is, yes, I do appreciate what the government is trying to do. I do appreciate some of the efforts that have been, they are quite laudable, but they're not enough. They're not enough. I think that for us to be able to make the kinds of progress we need to make, there has to be concerted efforts. I think of all the state, I think of the federal government, I think they're trying their best. For the state government, I think the state is also trying to do something, but it's not enough. So I would like to see more government participation. I'd like to see government not trying to put his hand in the game and trying to get involved, but trying to enable people and provide platforms that enable people to be able to participate. I think that that's the biggest thing. So whether it's from policy formulations, whether it's from funding participations, but government should just enable and just create enabling environments. I think that's the biggest thing that is missing.
So that's your open letter, so to say, to the government to do far more for technology. What about you, Jide?
Yeah, for me, beyond formulating policies, I think it's going to be a good thing for them to also implement policies. When you take a look at Nigeria as a country, you discover that we have a lot of policies, good policies that are in place, but how many of these policies are rightly formulated? You see that a government of the day will formulate a policy, very well intended. Another government will come in, and the policy will be done away with. So I think it's high time we embrace continuity as a government, and of course make sure that the policies that are formulated are also implemented.
Thank you so much, Jide Ayegbusi and Damilare Ogunleye, our techpreneurs, for being a part of Rubbin Minds.
Thank you.